Welcome to the Faith and Obedience Training Video Part 2. Most companies provide their salespeople business cards to hand out as an icebreaker. It provides the individuals with an immediate idea if the salesman is involved with something that can be beneficial to them. But what do Christians have to hand out? Nothing. There are some small pamphlets and tracts available that jam hundreds of words in small print into a pamphlet, but most Christians know the majority of people will never read them, so they don't even bother. But what if you could provide church members a small handout piece that will be accepted by the majority of the general public? In fact, some churches have experienced over a 90% acceptance rate from people. That handout piece is a specially developed prayer request card, a small card that actually works. The key to this is the majority of people are open to accepting prayer whether they go to church or not. The majority of TV preachers get hundreds of thousands of phone calls a year for prayer needs because people face struggles and problems all the time. And in most cases, the people don't feel comfortable with the commitment their church is to prayer, or they don't believe their church really believes that God answers prayer, so they call someone else to pray for them. The key to this card is the approach and the wording. It is a non-intimidating way to make contact with someone, and the wording provides the individual with a feeling of confidence and comfort. We use a standard folded two-sided business card that is real easy for church members to carry. The wording on the front panel of the prayer request card says, "At some time in everyone's life, we will face struggles and problems with health or finances or family. We want you to know you don't have to go through it alone. The prayer team at ABC Church takes people's prayer needs seriously, and we would like to pray for you or your family during your time of struggles." The inside, once you open the card up, includes a spot for the individual's name and their prayer request. The back side, the panel, includes the church address, phone number, and an email address so people can actually email their prayer request in rather than mailing this card in. Now, before you implement the program with the church, there's some things you should consider. One, it's imperative that the members of your church do believe that God answers prayer. I would put together a strong prayer team with a few people that are willing to meet once a week to pray for the church and the prayer request cards that come in. I would recommend taking maybe a Wednesday evening or even a Sunday to preach on God answering prayer, and use all the scripture you can so the people internalize it and believe it. If people do not believe God answers prayers, they have no reason or no motivation to step out of their comfort zone and face their fears and hand out a card to a family member, friend, or stranger. It is also imperative that you introduce the prayer team that will be praying for the cards that come into the church. This is to build faith in the church member's mind that the people praying are real prayer warriors. I would also do an open invitation to the congregation, invite anyone who wants to join the prayer team on that weekly night to pray to do so. Now, there's two benefits to this. One is church members are developing an all-the-time attitude versus an event attitude. Most people will only talk to someone about church or God around Easter or Christmas time. But this prayer request card program can develop an attitude in church members to start looking for people around them to hand out the cards to. It's called the 3-foot rule. If someone is within 3 feet, they're within reach. Hand them a card. The second benefit is people in the community will realize your church cares. You aren't beating them over the head with the Bible. You're not trying to request money from them. You're showing them Christian love and compassion with no strings attached. You have to make sure the prayer team understands they are meeting for two reasons. One, to pray for God to move in your church and community, and then also to pray for the prayer request cards that come in during that week. This way, even if no cards are received during any week, the prayer team doesn't feel like they've wasted their time because they're praying for the church first and foremost. I would also just suggest having someone pray for the cards individually as they come in. It could be a staff member or associate pastor or volunteer. This will be important to both church members handing out the cards and the people receiving them. Consider this. How motivating would it be, or basically how discouraging would it be, to be handed a prayer request card out to someone that's facing a serious struggle and wants and needs prayer immediately. And then you have to tell them, well, sorry, we just prayed last night, so you'll have to wait for a whole nother week before they'll pray for your needs again. If the person was seriously interested in receiving prayer, they would feel like they just got kicked in the gut. That same feeling applies to the church members handing out the cards. If they feel this is just a once-a-week thing and people will have to wait a whole week before they are prayed for, they will lose excitement. So it's important to stress to church members, if they are nervous, hesitant, or shy, they don't even have to say anything or make eye contact with the person to hand them a card. I've been with people in a restaurant that didn't even look at the cashier after paying for lunch and just reached out with the card, handed it to them and said, "Please take a look at this when you have time." That's all they said, and then walked away. It could be as simple as this, or it could be more involved, which we'll cover in the next couple of videos. The bottom line is creating an environment where the majority of the people in the church can immediately feel confident and empowered, and then provide them with direction where they are ready to be more involved. They can move on to the next level.